All right, let's get the latest now by welcoming SABC News Correspondent Blake Sifton, who's joining us live from Tel Aviv in Israel. Blake, a very good afternoon to you. So what is the current and the latest on the flotilla as well as its detainees? We're getting word that the Israeli military has managed to actually stop all boats aboard the flotilla.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. That's right. The last vessel that had been experiencing mechanical issues and had lagged behind the rest of the flotilla was now intercepted and boarded by the Israeli Navy local time this morning. That means that all 42 boats have now been intercepted. At least 470 participants from the flotilla have been detained. They were initially taken to the port of Ashdod. They have since been taken to a prison in the Negev desert where they will have their deportation proceedings processed by immigration officials. Now, this is a high security prison. It's one of Israel's largest prisons, and it's not a prison that normally houses so-called immigration detainees. But because of the large number of participants involved, the hundreds of activists involved, Israel faced a logistical challenge. So they're using this high security prison to house detainees. Now, the Israeli Foreign Ministry put out a statement today saying that 4 Italian citizens have already been deported. They have not issued a timeline for when other activists will be deported, but they've said that they are keen, in their words, to deport everyone as soon as possible. We also heard from organizers of the flotilla who said that several of the activists detained have begun a hunger strike at the moment they were detained at sea, and they are currently going forth with that hunger strike while they're in detention.
Maybe just give us more context here. What exactly, or what are the laws that the Israeli military is actually accusing those activists of breaching in sending them to detention?
That's an interesting question, and really it's being disputed by different experts on maritime law, of course, from within Israel and abroad. Now, normally, countries only have jurisdiction up to 12 nautical miles off of their coastline, and these interceptions were carried out as far as 70 nautical miles, between 70 and 40 nautical miles, roughly. Now, the Israelis will argue that during a time of war and a blockade in a war, that area of jurisdiction can be extended, and that's the basis on which they have carried out these interceptions and these detentions. They say, of course, it's to stop weapons from getting to Hamas. However, the members of the flotilla have said that they are civilians. They were carrying humanitarian aid, medicine, supplies, and they had no weapons. So they said that this justification does not apply in this case.
And, you know, Blake, there has been widespread allegations from the Israeli naval forces there that did intercept the flotillas, accusing it of carrying weapons on board some of these flotillas. Has these allegations been proven to be true or otherwise?
Pardon me, I couldn't hear very well. Did you say that the military is accusing activists of carrying weapons?
Yes, Blake. In terms of the Israeli naval forces that have intercepted the flotilla, they've said one of the reasons that they had to detain and intercept the flotillas was that these flotillas were actually carrying weapons on board. Can you verify this? Can they verify this?
Thank you. Thank you. I understand that. Now, no, they've shown no evidence whatsoever that any weapons of any kind were found on board any of these boats. They've made that argument in the past that that's why they need to intercept the boats, but they have never since said, oh, we found weapons on these boats. Now, I should tell you as well, we've had a video emerge today of far-right National Security Minister Itamar Ben-Gvir. He went to the port of Ashdod when these activists and others were brought by the Israeli Navy. They were seated on the ground, being detained, and he walked among them and heckled them and shouted at them. He called them terrorists, and he called them supporters of murderers. And today he released a statement urging Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu not to deport these activists, journalists, and others, but instead to jail them in Israeli prisons for several months. So in his words, they can learn the smell of the terrorist wing, meaning the area of the prison where security prisoners are housed.
Very interesting developments there, then, Blake. So what is the current situation also on the ground in Gaza? Because latest reports this side are indicating that the Israeli army has actually issued a final warning for thousands to flee Gaza City amid the escalation of attacks.
That's right. Well, we're focused on the flotilla, of course. The siege of Gaza City is well underway and really reaching a critical and crucial stage. The Israeli military on Wednesday, said that they had finished encircling Gaza City. They have cut off the coastal road, which was the escape route for people from Gaza City to the southern areas. They've said that no one is now allowed to go from the south to the north, and that anyone who flees Gaza City now has to pass through Israeli military lines. Israeli Defense Minister Israel Katz said that this was the last opportunity for civilians to leave Gaza City, and he said that anyone who remained behind after this point would be considered terrorists or terror supporters. Now, the United Nations has come out today and said, explicitly said, that there are 250,000 civilians remaining behind in Gaza City, and that calls like that to say everybody left behind is a terrorist or terror supporters is potentially setting the stage for the mass killing, according to the UN, of elderly people, of children, and of women.
And Blake, maybe very quickly, I mean, what is Israel's reaction to the global reaction and condemnation, of course, to them taking those activists and detaining them?
The Israeli authorities have not specifically replied or given a response to the various comments we've heard from world leaders, from labor unions, and from protesters, from people in the street the world over. But in the past, when there is criticism of their policies in Gaza, of course, they've said that the situation on the ground in Gaza is not as people believe. They say that Hamas misrepresents it. They say that condemning Israel essentially is rewarding Hamas and emboldening Hamas and strengthening Hamas's position in negotiations. And when it comes to the flotilla, of course, they've called it a stunt, and they've accused the flotilla members of direct links to Hamas. But they have not replied directly at this stage to the condemnation, the widespread global condemnation over the interception of these ships and detention of these activists.
Very comprehensive update there. Thank you so much to SABC News correspondent Blake Sifton, live to us from Tel Aviv on the latest on the flotilla, as well as, of course, those detainees.